Now, isn't this a little different? Hey there! Welcome back to the Writing Advice Q&A. And I know, it sounds a little different today. I can't do much about that yet. I'm trying out various setups. The good thing, though, is that I'm back. And videos are back. And they're gonna be coming back little by little, because the options were either A, you wait like 3 more weeks for me to be able to go back to multiple videos a week, or I just start releasing 1 video a week as I get back into things and my schedule settles down. I hope you don't mind. But anyhow, it's gonna sound a little echoey. Remodeling finished at the house, and I've got this nice wall here. The lighting is atrocious. I'm gonna fix something. Kitty and I were looking into getting a soft light box and a better camera. It's all a process, so bear with me. Anyhow, welcome back to the Writing Advice Q&A. I'm your host, M. Kieran. Welcome back to the place where we talk about writing advice. You send me your questions and I answer them. Today, I'm going to be talking about the first draft. NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, is just around the corner, and I thought I would share my insights on the first draft, what I believe is the hardest part of the first draft, how you can get over it, and a little bit more of inspiration along your way. As we're getting into things, I want to let you know, as always, that if you have a question, leave it in the comments down below. The questions that I answer in these videos come from viewers. Like, I don't come up with things. I just grab a question and I go, that will be a fun question to answer, and I put on the camera and I start talking. That's how this channel goes. It's very... Would the term be grassroots? I don't know. I take things from the viewers. It's very, like, interconnected. You send questions, I answer them. So if you've got one, leave it in the comments down below. I also make it a point to reply to questions in the comments. So if I don't make a video immediately on it, I'll still send you a reply. So... there you go, there's that. Now, finally, it's time for the reminder. I want to let you know, as always, that the following you're about to listen to is nothing but my advice, my opinion, and what works for me. Don't take it as gospel, instead take it as the ramblings of a silly person who looks a little bit like this. Also, my camera is telling me that it has 4 minutes left in battery, even though it said 50 minutes, no more than 3 minutes ago. So you know what? I'll fix that, and then we'll begin the video in proper. Also,
Yanto, say hi, Yanto. Hello, Babawi. This is Yanto the cat. He's not happy today. Huh?
So bonuses of me living with Kitty now, let's get that out of the shot, is that you can see Yanto in the videos more often.
Oh, is that so, Yanto?
He's not happy. Look at those ears. He's ready to attack. Alright, I'll let you go now. Please bear with me as I'm figuring things out. Because, like, the easiest thing for me would be to just record at my desk. And I don't want to use the word laziest. It would be the laziest thing to do, because I just put on the webcam, I make the lighting work, and I just sit down on my chair. And I want something more. I got a bunch of feedback, and I want to make things look and sound better. Right now the sound is taking like a backseat for the moment, because I know it sounds echoey. I know, because there's a whole living room in front of me. But we'll make this work, okay? We'll make this work. Now, the first draft. Again, National Novel Writing Month. Write 50,000 words in 30 days is coming up in November. And as always, the questions came my way. Max, it's my first time trying out this whole writing thing. What's the hardest thing? What's the hardest part of the first draft? Like, how can I get ready and prepared for jumping into the first draft? And my general advice goes a little bit like this. First off, before any actual, writing advice, take care of yourself. Take it slow. Take it easy. I know that the whole challenge is about writing approximately 1,699, I forget. Or 1,666, I forget the numbers. It's about writing approximately 1.6k words every day. And I know that's the challenge in proper. But if it's your first year, I'm gonna be real honest with you, it's entirely likely you won't complete it. It's really hard. I didn't do it the first 3 times I tried it, mostly because I didn't have the habit down, and I was still dragging around a lot of very bad advice, a lot of very pretentious advice. Things that I got in high school, you know, about knowing everything, about being the sole mastermind, about if the story was ever going its way, that was wrong because it was going against the outline, and very restrictive, very restricting and restrictive. I was very good at short stories because there was less time for the story to get crazy, and more time for the outline to just reign supreme. But as I began working with novels and began attempting NaNoWriMo, the issues came to the surface, you know? I was very control-centric, and as those of you who follow me now and have read my novels, I have let go entirely of that. It helps a lot to just let the story be what it is. But that wasn't the point of advice. Take it easy, take it slow, take care of yourself, take care of the writer to take care of the writing. Seriously, month-long challenges like that are really hard, especially in first-timers. Understand that it is likely you will not achieve the arbitrary goal of 50,000 words in 30 days, and that's okay. You can do it in 2 months, in 3 months. You can do it in as much time as it takes you, because getting that book done, eventually, is way better, will always be better, will always be objectively, truthfully better than not getting it done at all. Than writing 50k words and letting it sit. Than just writing a bunch of words of a story and never finishing it. Remember, as always, finishing things is always better than not finishing things. Primarily because you can actually revise a story you have finished, and you can publish a story you have revised. It's part of the process. And although I know that a bunch of people watching this are newcomers, people starting up, and I know that it may seem daunting for me to tell you, the first draft is it's only the first level. It's get ready for new game plus. But it's part of that. You write the story, you revise it, you get it ready for publishing. Those are basically the three stages of the final boss, if you want to look at it like that. It takes a while. So take care of yourself. Take it easy, take it slow. It's a journey, not a marathon. Okay? And now for some more practical writing advice, like actual things you can just directly apply into the act of writing. Aside from the little things like, yes, please take breaks, and please back up your writing every single night. If you are writing on your computer, I recommend you get a program like Evernote or whatever the Microsoft equivalent is. I think it's called SkyDrive, I forget, or just iCloud, some sort of cloud-based program that stores your writing somewhere else. We've been through this before, the reviewers. If you've been following me, but if you're new, because there's a bunch of new followers, let me tell you, hard drive failure is a real thing that happens all the time. Your USB drives, your hard drives, they will die eventually. Sorry to bring up the mortality of your hard drives or the mortality of your data, but it's true. And I have lived through it. My PC died one day, randomly, no warning, no nothing. It wasn't a matter of like, yeah, my hard drive is taking a lot to boot. No, one day, gone, dead, complete hard drive failure. Even if I have had the money to drop $1,000 to revive the hard drive and get all the data out of it, it wouldn't have worked. Total hard drive failure. One day, gone. The only writing I lost was writing from like high school. Everything else was backed up on Evernote, and I have not gone back ever since. Now, some of my writerly friends think I'm kind of a maverick, of a crazy person, but I write by hand now. It helps with my anxiety, and I actually back up that writing by taking photos of it. I think there's an app on iOS called Scannable. It's actually an Evernote partnered app, but you don't have to have Evernote. And you just take a picture of a page, and it actually converts that into a PDF, and it saves it online. It's very useful. Again, it's called Scannable. I think it's also on Android. It's gotta be. It's a really good one, and I know someone out there is like, oh, that's too much work. Yeah, it is too much work. But I don't want to lose writing. I've been there, you know? I don't want to lose writing. Also, if there's background noise, I apologize. The one issue about recording like this is that I'm at the whim of whatever the neighbor next door is doing, and it looks like they're doing yard work outside. So, I apologize for that. Anyhow, more first draft writing advice. Take breaks, take care of yourself, back up your writing. And now, for an actual writing advice tip. What is the worst part of the first draft? What is the worst part of the first draft? I've been doing a lot of writing recently. A lot of starting things, and a lot of life getting in the way of writing things, which has pretty much boiled down to Max starting up a bunch of stories. And it's reminded me what the hardest part of the first draft is. And that is the first third of your story. The first third of the story is... How do I say this? Because when people think about the hardest part of a story, they think of the end. Because you gotta pull off the end. Because you gotta make sure that all the things make sense all the way through. Clearly, logically speaking, it's gotta be the last third of the story. It's the climax, it's the conclusion. What if you leave the readers hanging? What if they're unsatisfied with the ending? Don't matter. It's the first third of the story that's the hardest. Because during that first third, you're getting used to the story. You're getting used to the shoes of the story. You're getting used to the way the narrator tells the story, because in all of your stories, there's a narrator, and that narrator is a character. Every story is told differently. Every story requires different storytelling tools from your writer's toolbox. Every single one. Not two stories are the same. I've written a lot of books. No two books have been equally easy to write, not even sequels of other stories. Each one a different beast to slay. And this brings me to the hardest, the sourest. Because the only taste that I can think of is sourness when I think about this. Because it's almost a misconception. You would think that the part that we spend the most work on, the part that is the biggest first hurdle in a draft, should be the one that requires the less work to edit. But it's not. The hardest part of the first draft is probably that very first writing session. That very first time when you sit down to write the opening of the story, the first chapter, the prologue. Oh man, that's hard every time. That's hard no matter what. With outline, without outline, after a long day of work, starting in the morning, when you think you know everything and when you've got nothing. It's still hard. And I can tell you from experience, I don't think I've done a single first draft. I don't think I've done a single story in which I did not end up changing the prologue or the first chapter. In some cases, I just ended up cutting out the whole thing. Raven's Gem and Justine's Blood are both two stories that I wrote that there was approximately like 3,000 words before where the story started, and I just cut it all out because it wasn't relevant. Because it ended up being me warming myself up, hyping myself up in the form of words to get started with the story. And when the revision process came, I looked at them and I thought, the story just gets good here, so let's just have the story start here. It was a process, but it's that realization every time. When you're sitting down there to write, and it's the very first session, it's November the 1st, and you think to yourself, these words better be good. They better be good. They better be the best words I've had in forever, aligned in the correct order. And as time passes, as I've written stories, finished stories, and have plenty that have not been finished, it's hit me, especially during these last few months, how it doesn't matter what the first chapter looks like. About how it really doesn't matter that if those words are not in the correct order, especially for someone with dyslexia. It really doesn't matter what that very first chapter looks like. Because it doesn't matter what that first third of the story looks like. Because that first third of your novel is gonna get super revised. I spent most of my time revising. I'm not kidding. This is not just to make my point work. Most of the time I'm revising the first third. Because I don't know what characters sound like. Because I have inconsistencies with my description. One moment I describe the character looking one way, and then the next I forget parts of their dress or parts of the way they do their hair, and I forget to describe places. Oh god, that's my number one note. In all of my first drafts, that's my number one note. Did I describe the main character? Spoilers, I always forget. I always have to patch it in later, because I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot to describe the character until chapter 4. Whoops. Did I describe what the room looked like? Did I describe what that magical artifact looked like? The answer is probably no. And that's part of it, because you're in the act of writing, especially during the beginning. You're getting lost in there, and you're not only battling the blank page, the most evil of foes, but you're also battling yourself. Because there are those thoughts in the back of your mind telling you, this ain't good. Oh God, what if your friends read this? Oh, what if that person you have a crush on read this? Oh God, that would be the end of it. But that's not true. And most importantly, it really doesn't matter. That first draft, it can look however it wants to. Especially that first third. It can look however it wants to, it doesn't matter. Because you're gonna revise it. And let me tell you from experience, that first third is gonna take a lot of work. It's gonna take a lot of work. But you already wrote the darn thing. You wrote this book. Now give it shape. Make it the best it can be. So, to anyone out there preparing for National Novel Writing Month, for anyone out there jumping in right now, because trust me, if you're excited for National Novel Writing Month, if you just can't wait, start. Just start. Because as much as I love Nano, because Nano brings people together, as much as I appreciate it, if you want to start writing, just start writing. Oh my God, just start writing. Start having fun. Start telling that story. Start getting over that first third of your story. Because that's right there. That right there. That is the hardest part of the first draft. I know. Once I get over that bump, the rest is just cruising. It's just continuing to tell the story, chasing characters, telling their story. It's all just part of that. And please, when you sit down to write, especially coming the 1st of November, on that very first session, when you sit down, just write. Just write. I know I just talked about forgetting to describe people and forgetting to describe things and the possibility that you may end up cutting that entire first session out. It doesn't matter. Write. Get it done. You cannot cut. You cannot give shape to. You cannot make perfect what you do not have. And I know it's heartbreaking to spend this time putting words on the page, battling the blank page, to know that maybe someday you'll have to cut it out. But that's part of the process though. And I know this video's been pretty long, but I wanted to give one more thing. One more thing that I was talking on Twitter recently, and I just need to say it so that that young person over there who's getting started, who this is their first Nano, who's about to jump into some pretty scary things come November 1st, I just want to tell you that the struggle against the blank page is equal to everyone. It doesn't matter how many books you've written. It doesn't matter for how long you've been doing this. It doesn't matter if you're published, if you're traditional, if you're indie, if you're young or you're old. It's hard. It sucks. It doesn't get better with time. That struggle is the same. I was telling people, I think I've gotten really good at revision. I think I've fine-tuned or I've developed the tools in my writer's toolbox for revision to notice patterns and to be merciless when it comes to reading through my own work. First drafts though? No, they're still hard. They're still like, pulling teeth, but it's part of it. And remember that that struggle is the same for everyone. For you, newcomer, and for the author who's got dozens of books published. That struggle is the same. If you can get over it, you can get over anything. Okay? Okay. I hope this helped, and I hope that if anything I gave you another point of view. I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below, as well as any questions for future videos. I really hope it helps. Stay strong, and get lots of writing done, okay? And please, if you're excited right now to write, and you have your novel already planned out, just start. seriously, just start. You'll have way more words, you'll be way more ready to finish that story and move on to the revision draft. And one thing, I forgot to mention this because I got all wrapped up in inspiring you and telling you what I felt, what I was feeling here. If you have never outlined a novel, I have a video on my channel. It should also be in the description down below. How to plan a novel. It's a 1-hour workshop. I go over everything. It's one video, description down below. I made it a while back. It's basically my favorite video I've ever made. And it's got so much inspiration, I couldn't cram anything else in there. So if this is your first time, go check that guide out. I think it'll help. And if not, it'll just show you the way that I plan novels. And hopefully it'll give you a nice template for you to make your own way. And now, I've asked for questions. I told you that thing I forgot about. As we're rolling to the formal outro, I want to let you know that you can follow me on Twitter for updates on my personal life, on what I'm doing, silly pictures of Yanto, and more other silliness like that. And also, I'm back, and that also means that Patreon videos are back. These videos go up on Patreon a whole week early. So it's no longer just a matter of you get them a day early, you get them a whole week early, and Patreons get that extra time to submit questions and more. So if you enjoy my content and would like to make sure that I can continue making it for the foreseeable future, consider Patreon. It's actually just $1 a month. If you want to watch my videos a week early, $1 a month. That's it. That's more than YouTube will ever give me. So there you go. Additional to that, if Patreon doesn't work for you, if the monthly thing is not for you, consider treating me to a cup of coffee. Cause heaven knows, we're all gonna need a lot of coffee coming November. So link to a one-time donation in the description down below. And now, as we arrive at the end slate, I want to let you know that up here, there's a playlist with a bunch of writing advice videos. A lot of writing advice videos. Like over 300 now! It's a lot. Up here, a button to subscribe. Over here, a link to my Patreon. And over here, a channel with a link to my other channel with my best friend Kitty, where we play games, we chat, we review anime, and we scream about bad storytelling in American television, and more! Or a Dango duo. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's nice to be back, and there will be more. Max will return on the next one.